Hello everyone, this is NTW3 here with another NTW3 replay video. We're going to hop straight into this one. Up front, we have two 11 France armies, 1812, commanded by Travis S. and Z. Colts. Very powerful units, Les Perchers, insane morale. Various Italian units, Italian grenadiers, solid 6-pound guns as well being brought to the field, as well as other various guard cavalry units. Very powerful armies, perhaps the best in the game in terms of cost efficiency and points as the patch 9.2. Second up, my force, the United States of America, commanding various militias from states such as Maryland and New York, and other states like Louisiana. Third up, we also have the Russia Southern Guard, commanded by Little Smurf. Various units such as Austrians and many different Germanic troops, as well as various provisional and militia line, which can bolster the ranks of our army. On to the battle. Some cavalry to start this battle off. We get the Prince Clements Lancers as well as some Muscadines. Being under attack by some Russian Lancers as well as the Cavalgrads. An absolutely insane 2k gold unit with great melee defense for a C3. Terrifying thing to bring to the field. It will perform greatly in this battle, as we will see later on. Furthermore, we have skirmishing. We have some light company from the 10 UK firing at some French artillery there in the distance. Artillery being set up by the Russian 9 player, which is a mixture of Prussian and Russian troops from 1807. United States player, me, setting up on the left flank of the town. We're going to attempt to kind of hunker down in this town in order to get a good defensive position. We'll allow us to perpetrate an attack outwards, which will be quite effective in the long game, especially considering we have that LC as shown by that map there. Lots of militia up front for the United States. Obviously, we're going to absorb a lot of attacks. Brought quite a bit of art this game, a little too much for the United States in my opinion. Of course, I did not bring that 2k gold New Orleans artillery, which would have been probably wouldn't even have made it to the field in this situation, honestly. Of course, we got those Russian 9 guns, which can be dealing some minor damage, just horse guns. I think those are the 2 gold artillery batteries, which are incredibly cost-effective. I am very much still baffled why there's still two gold horse artillery in this game, but still nonetheless. Again, lots and lots of men in reserve. We seem to be in a pretty nice position defensively. It's really just about letting our forces amass at the center points. We can consolidate and then eventually push at one point. But it definitely does seem like the coalition at this point is going to put up the offensive. I got some skirms up front there. Should be screening their army, dealing some minor casualties, nothing significant. And this will hopefully maybe just delay them and hopefully just give us more time to eventually consolidate. And again, finally make that first push. It's always better to have the offensive in this game. Always, always, always. You want to have that initiative, okay? You know, as much as cringe as it says, quoting Napoleon, you know, you always want to control the field by attacking, right? You want to decide when something happens and when it doesn't happen. Got an Austrian player there. I can't remember if that's 8 or 10 Austria off the top of my head. We got one of the 11 France generals dead. I still do not know how he died. I think it actually was one of the 2 gold horse artillery pieces from halfway across the freaking map that just somehow managed to land on him. That was Eugene there, so that is I can make. At least it wasn't something higher stars there. I think Eugene is only 2 stars in this mod here. Skirmish actually coming a little too much fire there, actually getting broken by some of the Russian infantry and the Jaegers there, especially. Which have pretty nice accuracy for being that cheap. But nonetheless, we will be trying to mirror the Russian positions here, trying to defend and allow our allies to eventually march up to the field, hopefully gain us some time. I am again mostly concerned about those Cavalgrads. They're going to be able to tear through my militia. I believe I only brought 2 square bulls this battle. I will be laying out some stakes with the Chesapeake Bay volunteers, which will hopefully screen me a little bit in the long term there from coalition cavalry. We also got the British player there lining up his men. In that town, he's not going to be trading as efficiently as he would want to. It's not that British infantry is necessarily bad in melee. It's just that it doesn't have a lot of mass, so it can't necessarily trade. You can definitely trade 1 for 1, if not higher. It's just, you know, they aren't going to perform nearly as good in the shootout. We also got the Austrian player there. Again, he's going to keep advancing. He's going to put a lot of pressure on me this game, and this is going to be something that's going to be a common theme, a good pattern in this battle you'll be able to recognize. Tons of Portuguese and British infantry lining up there. That's going to be a terrifying force to face. Looks like they're going to be storming into the town. We do hold a couple buildings there. Looks like a couple dragoons there, which tried to make some sort of quick dash for, I guess, the light company of the British there. But yes, we should be able to hold that town. It'll be quite a brutal fight there, especially if he brought any significant melee units like Highlanders. So I heard that Highlanders for 10 UK are not very good. Got some 6-pounders and some 12-pounders. They're going to be pumping, hopefully, a good amount of not shells, so they exist at this point, balls into the enemy. Again, they got those stakes up front. And some rifles, which, again, just not going to be really dealing a lot of damage, just screening as well. Occupying another building there, as seen by the notification. Again, look at all those reserves. We are stacked. We are ready for this defense. Pretty much once Smurf's army gets in position and is ready to go, we're going to make an attack. But I actually will say I'm a little upset with our initiative this battle, as we'll see later. Polish Grens, or those might be some either elite Polish line. I'm pretty sure there's some cheap Polish Grens are going to be holding that building. Going to hopefully hold against the thousands upon thousands of lobsterbacks that will be coming their way. They'll be fire a few shots before they completely storm the building. Okay, so they should hold there for a long-ass time, hopefully. Those guns firing into the Austrians and the Russians. I do not believe they performed outstanding this game, but a morale damager nonetheless, which hopefully will cause some breakage this battle. Some United States Marines there, or yes, the United States Marines. They should hopefully kind of protect and form square against any incoming cavalry that might try to charge those 6 pounds there. But yes, militia not really going to win in a direct line fight, but they should hopefully absorb a lot of bullets and take a long time to chew through, which again, a lot more time to show for the Imperials here later on. Lots of pressure from the Austrian player. I was a little worried at this point about my right flank. I feel like they would get kind of meleeed and pressed very hard there, so I'm going to keep trying to mirror their defenses, allow more time for the 11th France to set up and prepare a counterattack, which we will see here very, very shortly. Georgia militia there, cheap unit, 144 men, just providing that mass. Again, it's exactly what 7-point United States really is for, just resolving on attack. They can be pretty resilient in the face of a higher point faction, as we'll see quite clearly here. However, there will be a fatal mistake, which we will make later on this battle. Russian Guards, they are definitely going to be the face of this Russia 9 army. That is a very, very expensive force. That's going to be over 3k gold, I believe, those 2 units alone. Made a little charge there for those skirms. A little bit of friendly fire there, that's my bad. But here we go. The Kalfgrads making the charge into the New York militia. They are going to shred them to pieces. This is not going to be a very good situation for me. I'm going to have to deal with those fuckers as quickly as possible. Hopefully getting some men over there. I hope we shoot them in the side a little bit. But those things will be utterly terrifying. Those things, their sexy white uniforms are going to be able to shred right through anything combined. I believe that's Maryland militia. Actually, they're currently shooting. A little bit of FIM there. I'm not sure if that is FIM, but I do apologize if that is the case. Just absolutely annihilating that unit there. On the other flank, the Austrians are pressing incredibly hard. I believe they did bring a couple grenadiers this game as well. That Jaeger, you're getting absolutely annihilated from that point-blank volley there. Again, my men are often wavering. However, I got those 21st line there. The heroes of Lundy's Lane are going to hopefully put an end to those cavalry. So I was actually a little impressed at my men for holding back such an elite unit there, especially when it started to waver. I actually got a pretty big spark of hope there. Cocky Cossack was careful also there not to run into mistakes. Again, the Austrian players, mass infantry, just really doing a great job at pressuring me here. I think I would get to melee a little more if I was him, but I think he's just very terrified of the 11th France infantry. At this point, to prevent him from getting outflanked, I think he might want to pull back over there. Look, it's the free men of color fighting for their freedom, making a big charge there against the Austrians. 13 morale unit, incredibly cheap, less than 4 gold. Again, not amazing stats, just really good morale. You'll be able to hold in there for a while, hopefully give more time to pin that flank in place, which is going to allow more time for this 11th France to make a big push. Hope we get maybe even some of the guard cav in there. The coalition just has some of their cav of their own in the back there. I think they actually have some UK heavies, which again, not the best heavies, but certainly will propose a big obstacle thrust here in the long-term fight, especially with the fatigue, because I do believe the heavies, of course, are going to... Their fatigue is certainly a lot more valuable, so we're not going to want to kind of exhaust our men too much here in this initial push. British infantry storming into the building held by the Polish grenadiers. They're hopefully going to hold that shithole for as long as possible. Again, we're going to hopefully pin that in place, allow us to press in between the armies and get a good charge at the Austrian flank. Look at this. Kalfgrads, again, making another push to my militia, those New Yorkers, I believe. God, that is going to be brutal to deal with. They're going to keep shooting through me, and eventually, I'm going to eventually die to those things if nothing is done about them soon. I do believe you have some French cavalry that hopefully should be coming to save my ass from those damn things soon enough. But however, Smurf, the monkey, rear charging my general. That is going to be absolutely devastating for my morale. It's even going to cause the 3 men of color to break, 13 morale unit, which is freaking brutal, especially considering most of my army is in fact militia. So that is not a good thing at all. The French are going to have to rapidly replace my lines. And this on top of the British heavies incoming up, those Chesapeake Bay volunteers, some sappers there, going to get absolutely destroyed by, I believe those are the Inskirlings, I think. Shooting those Kalfgrads in the back. Oh, I think a little bit thin there. I think that's actually my bad. Cocky was chilled out, though. He's a nice guy. That is my fault. I apologize for that. A little bit of artillery-friendly fire. Hopefully that will stop soon enough. Look at this chaos in our lines. We were in a massive panic to freaking replace my men before they all break and cause a mass rout in our lines. Some skirms are firing through the British infantry. They keep storing that building. It might be time to reinforce that thing. It might actually soon fall. Because the Polish Grenadiers, they are good stats, but don't have a lot of men in them, so it might be time to reinforce them and support them in that building there. Look how quickly my men are wavering on the left flank there. That's absolutely brutal. The death of my gen there. I was very, very busy yelling at Smurf there for and really eviscerating my gen. I still do have my two very, very elite units, the Marines and the 21st Line, which will hopefully prove to be at least moderately useful even without the gen later on in this battle. Another charge there from the Cavalgrads into some of the French infantry. Those things are just pounding away at our lines. They're going to have free reign soon enough if they just keep murdering our infantry. We're not have a front line to stand on if we don't cope with those things. Hopefully they might exhaust themselves in this fight here, but I'm really just hoping we can get rid of those things as soon as freaking possible. Excellent use by Kaki Cossack with the Cavalgrads there. This might not actually even be the Cavalgrads. They may actually be the Vanier order, but I apologize if that is actually not the correct unit there. Again, Austrian infantry doing an excellent job pushing through the bloody streets of the town, littered with bodies here. Absolutely brutal. British heavies, I think he wants to pull him out there. I would not want to exhaust heavies. Brave black men there fighting for his freedom. Sadly, it was not enough. Most of that unit, I believe, was eviscerated. Dark times to live in. Certainly dark times. Skirmers are giving a couple volleys. A little bit friendly that fire there from Smurf. Smurf doing everything in his power to murder me. British infantry finally taking the building there. That is going to be a pretty big blow to us as we were not able to reinforce that due to the panic of my general death. We were not able to reinforce it in time. Hopefully we'll be able to retake that though. We can trade off with some superior mass. But despite my breaking, we still have a massive counterattack being made by Z-Colt's infantry here. Absolutely brutal. Those Russian guards are going to be incredibly painful to break, but if we can do it, well, that's going to be a huge blow to Russia, and even if it might take 3 infantry units to do so, we still certainly will be worth it. Those things are stupidly expensive. You actually wasn't able to bring much of an army. It was primarily just a couple of elite guard units with that 9 Russia there. But nonetheless, it would be very, very nice if we could take those things off the field in some way, shape, or form. British heavies there, you might want to pull those back and rest those things. They did do quite a bit of melee combat there in the center, might be even exhausted. Again, we have plenty of reserves, so though my army might be wiped out, it might leave the right flank of ours a little open because of the lack of reserves over there now due to my breaking. But still, we will hopefully prevail this battle and continue that counterattack and maintain the initiative. Some cavalry charges being made there, hopefully just kind of dealing with some breaking infantry, and we don't want those things coming back. I would pull back that right assault if I was them. Those units are going to get completely isolated and cut off and probably shot to freaking death there in the center. We're going to hopefully maintain this attack. I got the United States Marines going in there. We're wavering quite a bit, though. It might be time to pop off a rally with the General Bessier and hopefully break them. Look at we're breaking them quite a bit, though. Austrians do not have outstanding morale, but nonetheless, we hopefully will be able to cause a big break, force them to fall back. Maybe just give us time for hopefully a lot of my men to rally. We also still have Russia Sud's Cav in the back there. I'm surprised they're not using as much cav as they are to plug the gaps in terms of the coalition. It might just be that they're exhausted because it's actually why they're bringing over more cavalry to plug this gap. They're actually getting broken pretty nicely here, so perhaps my breaking in the end was worth it. Man, things would have been very, very different this battle if my general did not die immediately off the bat like that. I'm running my Marines away because I do not want to get those things caught out, taking a couple casualties there from the Redcoats, firing away. They will press on. It seems like the coalition now can hopefully regain that initiative and maintain that assault again. They don't really want us time to regroup. Look at that thing. The provisional cuirassier is as shit as each individual model is. It's over a 200-man C1. And that's going to be pretty brutal for them to deal with. You got some thick boys, the Louisiana militia. Those are a very cost-efficient unit. Super high morale for being an L5 freaking militia unit. That many men. It's pretty crazy. More counterattacks. Again, those British infantry, though they may not have as much mass, it's not that they're completely incompetent in melee. Again, I would pull out. I think any assault being made right now, we really need to pull back and consolidate. Hopefully use those heavies to make a very, very solid push. Especially if we can take out those guard infantry there. We can use my militia there to point-blank volley them. Sending in some, I think maybe the Le Perche into the guard infantry. That's kind of not really a good use of Le Perche. Those guard infantry are able to kick the ass of them, despite how amazing the Le Perche are. The guard infantry just have too great of melee stats. Brutal freaking Austrian Lancers there coming in to hopefully break them. I wouldn't leave them melee there for too long, as they're not particularly great for long combat. Still, got the Cavalgrads making brutal charges. We need to deal with those things. Shoot them, every gun to them, something along the lines of that. But in the end, our counterattack did kind of allow us to make some space and hopefully allow us to regroup. Maybe we continue the attack later on. But man, they still have plenty of reserves. You still have that 10 UK, which, you know, kind of dedicated somewhat to the town, but I'd imagine still has a lot of fresh infantry there in the back. And you also still have that 9 UK, who was not dedicated a lot at all this battle, meaning himself to be completely fresh. Kind of same applies to our Russia Sud player, but his Cav has been relatively dedicated this game, which kind of makes the fatigue situation not necessarily on our side. Again, we're trying to retake this main building here. It's going to be pretty crucial for holding our right flank. If this thing falls, God knows what will happen. I mean, it already has fallen. We're just trying to retake it. What am I even saying here? Italian Grims, send them in first to keep eating all the food anyway. And that should result in that recapturing of the building, I'd say, as we are clipsing into a building there. Beautiful fight, actually very, very cinematic here. Lots of dead British trying to take that building there. Jeez. This push over here, man, this line fight against the Brits is just not going to go too well. Though it seems like the Russia is kind of breaking due to his lack of mass. This push initiative is definitely in the coalition's favor. That's really all I can really say. It seems like we have a lot of reserves. It seems like we're not really doing a whole lot with it. And over there you can see that 9 UK is relatively undedicated, almost entirely fresh, really light screen kind of holding them there, just trying to lay them for something to happen on this left. I think we kind of struggled with initiative a lot this battle. We really didn't know necessarily what we were going to do. It seems like now Russia Sud is going to dedicate his infantry. Again, hopefully you can use those provisional cuirassiers to make a big hole in their line there and just really hopefully start a big push in the end there. Glorious push. Glorious push indeed. The banners waving in the background. Lots of smoke too, man. Smoke, man. I feel like the smoke should kind of be like an actual gameplay feature, like where it actually obstructs vision, etc. Like more like a real battle, you know. I feel like it should be like all over the place, kind of like in Dark Mod, but nonetheless. Some Austrian Grens. I'm not a big fan of Austrian Grens, man. All honesty, I really don't think they are worth what their money costs as they are. Some more Austrian guns there as well moving up. That's going to be a little annoying to deal with, isn't it? But it does seem like we have the initiative on our side now. We're kind of regaining that attack, and again, hopefully those thick boys there can just throw themselves in, just make a big freaking attack, and again, maybe we can take out those Russian guards, and that would be a big gain there as well. And, you know, taking out those inspires they obtain as well. That's going to be even more benefit. But hopefully, it seems like we're making this charge soon here on this left. If we just send in his general, inspire that big thing, and then just go ham. Just go ham. Do not stop the push. But yes, you can see this UK over here, man. That's gonna be brutal. This thing is gonna have free roam. Again, hopefully we're sending some cavalry there to just halt that UK. We gotta make a push on this left. However, again, remember what I said about we're starting with initiative. While we're trying to make a push on the left, Travis, I believe, then decided to shift his entire army to the right to try and deal with UK, which was a horrible decision, because that may have actually allowed this left flank to fall. If he didn't do that, we have the thick boys now setting themselves in against the Austrian. Sadly, a lot of those guys can square, but hopefully we can just kind of run up and deal some damage. However, the Cavalgrads are also going to come along with those Austrian dragoons. And yeah, they're not gonna last long, especially against those Cavalgrads there. Hopefully, Smurf can get his gen there, do some inspires. Mississippi Adams dragoons also going in there, hopefully kind of support, screen, prevent some units from firing, and throw up the infantry forward. Those provisional cuirassiers, though, they're dropping like flies. Unironically, they're already wavering for such a giant freaking unit. That is highly unfortunate. Louisiana Blues, they're charging themselves in, just desperate to make some sort of push happen. Pretty unfortunate there. I was really expecting a lot more from those core provisional cuirassiers. Even with them being core provisional, I just expected 200 men to do something. But nonetheless, that is going to pretty much cause the collapse of the left flank here, especially with Travis's 11-point France gone, apparently trying to do something against the UK on the right. That was horrible coordination on our part. That really should not have happened. That combined with the town slowly falling out of our grasp, it's not looking good. It's not looking good at all. That British infantry, we just don't have cav. We can't take it out. And if this guy decides to fall back from Travis's 11-point France push here, it's in the end, it's just not going to matter because nothing can chase him. And he's faster than us. He's all L5s and L4s. There's not a whole lot we can really do here. And furthermore, You know, in the process of constantly retreating, we have to take shots and skirmish with them, which is just ideally what UK is really for. And this combined with the mass of Austria over there and the remnants of the Russian Guard, that's just going to cause the collapse of the left flank. What we really have to do is you have to make a decision as to what flank we're really going to press. And honestly, with the UK here, it's not going to look too good. Get those units in the house you're holding LC. Time has passed, though. It doesn't, an LC victory or anything does not seem very likely, however, considering there's probably still about 20 minutes left in the clock right now. However, the ever-ending push is it's almost like Leipzig, you know, it's just like from both sides, man, whoever we decide to push, they decide to fall back and regroup, and Austria pushing once more, this combined with all the British and Austrian cav as well. Luckily, you had that square there. That might have actually prevented the mass rout of our entire army. That's square single-handedly there. Glorious United States Marines there. Yikes. But yeah, not looking good. A lot of men are wavering. Again, our general death has just been pretty brutal. British line combined with Austrian mass, that is going to be absolutely insane. Just kind of delaying actions from that cav there to hopefully just delay time, allows Travis to do something. Again, if this UK falls back, this entire push is useless, and again, this France would have been significantly more useful on the left flank. We might have been able to kill them in combination with the Cuirassier attack, which would have screened his cav quite significantly, and allowed our infantry to do a hell of a lot more. We're going to try and make another push into the town. It seems like, sadly, those Italian grins, they did not work the first time, so we're going to send them in again and see if it works. Hopefully they'll be able to do it this time. Oh, that guy really getting strangled to death there. That was pretty cool. I like looking at dead bodies. Italian guns making their way in. Pretty brutal fight there. A lot of units died in the process of taking and retaking that building. I think it exchanged hands like a solid 3, maybe 4 times this battle. That's pretty ridiculous. Remnants of my army and the Russia Sud again just falling back. Again, it seems like everyone's cav is either non-existent or is so exhausted to the point where an effective pursuit cannot really occur on either side here. It just kind of feels like a slowly impending doom which is going to come upon our armies. If they can conjoin and consolidate, they're going to be able to kick our ass. So we really need to make a move here. Again, I do believe we struggle with initiative this battle. I think us not making a decision very quickly is in the end hurting us a hell of a lot more than it is helping us. Beautiful volleys there, though. Beautiful volleys. The 21st line there, very elite infantry unit there. That could potentially do something in the future. Maybe in a good melee, cause a rout amongst the Austrians there. However, again, half of our generals are dead, and not a single one of theirs is dead. Morale advantage is not playing his right side. And again, Travis now making a complete 180, understanding there's nothing he can do to catch up to that young UK because he has no cav. It's all gone, all exhausted, all completely used. And I think it's actually best to make a move now, especially while their cap's a hell of a lot more tired from the freaking fight with a thick-ass Cuirassier that sadly underperformed and didn't do a whole lot. And yeah, that was a very demoralizing section of the battle. However, there is still hope. There is still hope. Again, if we can consolidate onto one flank and hopefully crush them, again, because these guys, they're a lot slower. It's not nearly as much British line, and they're going to lag behind. And hopefully we can eventually make a big push, which can hopefully allow us to, in the end, just do something against that UK. It is completely fresh. The amount of British line that UK-Netherlands has on the right flank is just absolutely absurd. I actually have no idea at this stage of the battle how we're going to deal with that. And those Austrian guns, too, are just brutal. Constantly picking away. The morale damage from those things is also incredibly brutal. It's pretty much not going to allow any units to return because it's going to cause a kind of constant slow stream of routing units to happen. Looking at LOC, it's not even in our favor, most likely. I mean, we don't even have that central building at top anymore. It's not looking good. Hopefully, we should be able to reclaim that soon. But again, I think it's really about limiting this army on the left, hopefully before the UK can arrive and help his comrade, and hopefully just something can happen. We're just kind of praying here to just see if something happens. If we got Wellington there himself leading the British 10 here. Here we go, coming out of the town. Marines charging. I believe that's Garde Valonia. I believe that is Garde Valonia, at least. I really had no idea why they were doing so well against my United States Marines there. I think they actually managed to break them in this fight, which was absolutely insane. I presume that's Garde Valonia, or some sort of Spanish elite infantry there. But again, combined with the British shots, it's just never going to work well. It's just the British infantry is just too much. We can't push head-on against it. We make a consolidated push on a flank, so that way the fire is not nearly as devastating. I'm not sure how much cav they have left, but man, it's just not looking good for us right now. But if we can make a successful push, just even 1 unit breaking, maybe 2 units breaking, could hopefully just cause a small mass rout. 21st. Those who charge the British battery at Lundy's Lane, making a big shot at the British infantry there, and that should hopefully cause them to break, maybe with a big melee. The extent of the melee, to do this, a good unit melee. They're sadly wavering though. Those are Spanish sappers, I believe they're fighting. But those guys are so low on mass, I don't think they'll manage to stand a chance over there. Looks like the British is now falling back. It's sadly we have no cav. No effective pursuit can be made this battle. Honestly, them sitting there is honestly going to hurt them a hell of a lot more because we're kind of pressing on their flank. If they just fell back, they wouldn't lose anything at all, aside from those couple units of infantry. I'm now pulling back the 21st line, but I really do not want those to break. It's pretty much one, I think, of the 2 units I have left on the field at this point. Well, look, you have the 11 France main reserve kind of coming in. Look at those Cavalgrads. God, those things still alive. I think those things must have gotten at least 300 kills by the end of this battle. Those things were absolutely terrifying. Luckily, they're kind of so low in mass at this point that they're not going to be nearly as deadly. I think a couple shots would pretty easily break that unit at this stage of the battle. But again, we have this 11 France reserve. If we can kind of pin this guy in place, despite the massive amount of casualties we are receiving by pinning this guy in place, because we're making him think he's going to win this fight. If we can just get the 11 France to make a big push right before the 9 UK can do something, we might have a chance at winning this. There is a slight chance. I'm not sure if Coalition can actually see that reserve. I presume they can see that reserve coming up right now, but upon seeing that, I would certainly just kind of want to fall back behind the town and reconsolidate and make a big push there. Because that big blob of French infantry, it's not something they're probably going to be able to stand against, even with that much British infantry. Because the majority of British infantry is with the 9 UK, not with the 10 UK. The 10 UK exhausts himself against the town. Though he managed to successfully take it, it was sadly retaken by the sheer amount of mass by the 11 Frances there. Remnants of the Cavalgrad there at the bottom, and we're making a couple more melee charges again. I don't believe we have any cavalry left. If not, I think we have 1 cav. I believe that is the provisional cuirassier that actually just rallied. However, that thing is probably exhausted, and I don't think we'll see action for the remainder of the game due to its state of stamina. Finally retook that building there. That took a long freaking time, but that should be able to secure our right flank from any mass pushes there, and also hopefully prevent the 9 UK from supporting within the town as well. So now is our time. We have to make a move now. This is the only way we're going to win this battle. If we do not push and break the Austrians and the Russians now, before that 9 UK arrives, it's again only a light screen that's kind of facing them down at the moment. It's just skirms and a couple art. And look at that. You get that 9 UK cav. He's going for that general there. That is going to suck. That is the, I'm sorry, that's the artillery. He does later go for a general, though, I do believe. I'm sorry, I'm misgiving. For pretty freaking obvious foreshadowing there, but he does take out those guns, and that's going to make that push on the right even more devastating for us. Because, man, we can't, there's almost nothing delaying the Brits here. You can just keep walking forward, and there's nothing that would stop him. We have to make a move now on the left. And I do not know why we are not doing it now, because every second here matters. Taking out more skirms, only furthermore opening the gap for the UK. This is a race against time right now. We need to be doing something, despite the fact we have no cav. And here we go. Push on the right, mass meleeing, using our superior mass with those crazy Italians making their way through a melee. Shots being fired into them, but Jesus Christ. Not a whole lot we can do there. They kept breaking, keep on breaking, they keep on breaking. It's not looking too good, this push already. That unit, though, somehow managing to stay alive. I'm not sure if he inspired them. I'm actually really surprised that they did not break, especially under the fire from their infantry. We got another unit going to melee. And these units are very low in mass, so a good, decently prolonged melee will break those units with pretty decent ease. Musket bug. Oh my god, that unit just got decimated. Alright, just hopefully this push continues. Ah, no. The Cavalgrads, man, those things are brutal. Those are the MVPs of the coalition at this moment. There's just nothing we can do to push. We gotta keep going, though. I mean, it's pretty much all else or nothing. All goes else, push to center. At this rate of time, that's pretty much what a lot of people say about this game. I mean, if you feel like you're gonna lose, just press center. It's usually the best thing to do, because if you break the center, it gives you a lot better chances to win. Despite this, the Cavalgrads are breaking. They're so depleted, so low in mass at this point. They might actually be their limits here might break finally after being knocked down to just a couple dozen men, I think, which is absolutely absurd. That incredibly expensive unit. Again, that had to have got at least 300 kills by the end of this game, chewing through my militia, everything. Those guys were MVPs for certain. That art's going to be pretty brutal. Hopefully we can push quickly enough so that it doesn't prolong our assault and affect our morale greatly. But it does seem like we are breaking them relatively easily. It's kind of looking iffy here. Again, you got that 9 UK slowly closing the gap. But slowly here is the key term. He's doing it slowly. This is giving us more time. And again, this push on our right flank here with the 21st line leading the way. This might actually result in the collapse of the Austrian army. The mass route from the coalition left flank here might actually result in them having to retreat, and this army being successfully dealt with. And yep, there you go. As I mentioned beforehand, there goes Smurf's gen there, 7 UK. So yeah, that's 3 of our 4 gens dead. The only one left is Travis S's gen, Jean-Baptiste Bessier. Only one left here. Again, those guns. Hopefully we can just kind of force them to fall back, which might, no. Those cab might actually end up breaking some of the Russian Sud infantry because they're just so garbage, not very well trained at all. Can't home square. 21st line there, hopefully, yes, nice volley there from 21st line. Be able to break a couple of those Austrian units, and yes, that should be the left flank dealt with. We still have an entire menace, that is UK9 and all of his lobster backs, which are going to be incredibly brutal to deal with. I honestly have no freaking idea how we're going to deal with that. This guy is almost completely fresh. Hanoverian militia there as well. Those are going to be a little more easy to deal with. And Green Rascals, man, that's pretty crazy. That's been pretty brutal. I'm not sure if we have anything in that building right over there that really should be. I don't know why Jar is not rushing his men to that building. I think it's on garrison, if I'm correct. The 21st Line Infantry should be able to hold out the remainder of the Austrian army. They really did their part of this battle. I think they got a solid 200 kills by the end of it. Really cool lore behind that unit as well, Lundy's Lane, etc. Very underrated American War of 812 that is. Anyway, back to the battle. Looking at the map here, looking at time as well, LOC might be possible. And honestly, against that British infantry, controlled by Jar and 9 UK Netherlands, there is, it's just not looking very good. Get some rallied units there, going to hopefully rest up, and then maybe march to our aid, perhaps. Like Jar notices them, is not setting anything to deal with them. But nonetheless, we will hopefully put up at least a decent defense against the British infantry. I really have no idea how we're going to deal with this. We're going to have to shift this one sort of flank or get in a position where he's going to be a lot easier to deal with in terms of using our mass to our advantage rather than his absolutely just extreme shooting stats. And even then, because of those Hanoverian militia, it's not like mass is really going to play that much into our advantage either. Much better is way of dealing with these militia here. Very low morale, very poor stats. It's just getting up close and killing the fuckers. So here we go. We did occupy that building as well, and we're hoping to deal with that Hanoverian militia very, very soon as well. Just hoping we kind of start a kind of route on his, I guess so he is right, yes, and you can hopefully kind of keep rolling that. Might be able to deal with the British infantry, but look at that, he got even more men coming up. I don't believe he has any cav left. I think he utilized that to kill the gen and that art, which is a very, very brutal unit for us at this stage of the game. Again, hopefully you can just kind of wheel out one flank and just hopefully pick away at the Brits piecemeal and melee using our superior mass. But just the amount of British infantry they have right now is just absolutely absurd. I'm not really sure what general he has either. I would imagine it's I think it's Beresford. I don't really like bringing Wellington with a 9k Portugal. I think it's too expensive. Second time is not going to work. That unit is definitely exhausted, more fatigued, taking a pretty big point blank volley there from the Hanoverian militia. And yes, this fight, it's not winnable. This fight is not winnable for us. We're going to have to get in a position where we'll be able to use this mass to our advantage, our superior melee stats, as we are playing 11 France after all. It's again, not that Brits are bad in melee, we're playing 11 France. We're going to have to get some sort of advantage when it comes to this absolutely brutal fight. And look at all the dead bodies, man. Kind of wish gore was a thing in this game. And oh my god, yeah, that Bessie was getting way too close to the enemy there. If he got shot and died, that would have been the game easily. Kind of wish there was gore in this game. I mean, I'm sure all of you guys looking at severed limbs, etc. But still, yeah, I think it would look pretty nice. It would look interesting. It might be. I can't imagine how art and stuff would look in the end. But yeah, the death can get really concentrated in this game due to the way battles play out in other games, or other Total Wars. This is technically a mod for Total War. But anyway, back to the battle. Devastating volleys to the Brits. There's just no way. We can't stand it. I mean, already wavering. Some of the Russian Sud infantry here. We have to fall back. And what we're going to do after this, at this point, is we're going to fall back into the town. We understand we cannot win the tactical fight anymore. We have done all we can do. It's just way too much. We're exhausted. We're tired. And compared to this fresh force of British infantry, not just Northern infantry, but also British, that is also fresh, there's simply no way this is going to happen. So we're going to have to fall back into town, hunker down, we should have, or at least there's a decent chance we do have LOC. Though technically, our 3 points we do hold won't outnumber all the points on the map. We're just going to kind of have to hope that they don't own at least one of the points. Because again, both HQs, including theirs and ours, have a very big chance of both being occupied by the coalition. So as much as I really hate the HQ mechanic, it might be something that the coalition will have to do to win here, because the British infantry, though is good, it might not be able to kind of, in the end, overwhelm the melee superiority of 11 France here. Again, he got another melee there, but in the end, just the side shots, etc., it's just not going to work. It's just, we're going to get outshot. We cannot compare in this open battle against this UK here. It's going to be pretty brutal. Again, I'm not really sure what gen he has. I don't think that's Wellington, judging by the way his men are wavering like that. It's probably one of the lower-end gens, but I might be wrong, as, again, you cannot see the units as they are blacked out, sadly. Got Eugene there, kind of walking up to the British infantry. He might get shot and die. I mean, he's already dead, but that's just the remnants of his bodyguard there. Again, looking at OC, we do have kind of an advantage, assuming that they don't occupy both HQs. There is simply no way we're going to be able to make it to their HQ in time, but they might be able to, and that's going to be pretty brutal. Eugene getting freaking firing squatted there. Remembrance of his bodyguard, that is, letting him die. So, honestly, actually, in my opinion, one of the most unlucky general deaths I've actually ever seen in a total war, unironically. That's just a 2-goal or 3-piece sniping him from like halfway across the map. It's freaking brutal. I don't think he even meant to target the general. I think he meant to target the infantry, just shot over. Especially judging by it. He may have not even been able to see the general with the angle of the men. But yeah, moving back to the battle. Again, we're going to have to move into this town. There's simply no way we can maintain an open line fight. Really, really depleted Jaeger there. I'm not even sure how that he was even alive for that 21st line. Maybe just make some epic last stand around a church, perhaps. Again, I really should not be waiting out here out in the open against this British, which we're not going to win any sort of line fight with those guys. Wouldn't win in line fight normally. Certainly would when we're definitely tired and not nearly as fresh as the rest of the British Army here. This is really coming down to the last couple units here. Most of the armies on the field have been pretty much wiped out, and this is going to come down to be a pretty close game here, assuming that they don't already own both HQs, which in this case, this stand would be pretty anticlimactic, but nonetheless, we'll give it our best shot here. And again, this went to the building defensive position. I really don't know if it's possible for the UK to take this. However, I think if he plays his cards right, maybe kind of gets rid of the units outside of the borders, maybe sends in a slightly more elite unit to take the building, I think there certainly is a solid chance we're going to be able to hold on to that. Or he might be able to take that is. The 21st over there is my last unit on the field. I think they're just going to kind of go for a rendezvous all around the map here. I think I'm going to try and rejoin with the French, but I didn't want them getting caught out by any British infantry. It is still a 1,500 gold infantry, even though it is pretty damn depleted. I believe it probably has 30 accuracy at this point by due to its chevrons. It's not even a combat gem, so nonetheless, it's probably, if you don't want to keep away. I don't believe it inspires, however. Brits are going to be making this push. If they can kind of keep pushing up on that left point along with the right, kind of ignore the building for now, just kind of shoot away at those units, deplete them. That's what their purpose primarily is with British infantry, just out-qualitying them and just picking away, even with, I guess, inferior mass. I think it's going to be the better option here. I don't think storming the building head-on is going to be the best option. I don't think it's necessarily impossible for them at this rate. Though there also is a point to be made why the British would even pursue the French at this point. They could be playing for more strategic victory and grabbing Locke. But nonetheless, I think he is going to go for a head-on engagement. He might not want to go for Locke. He probably doesn't like his odds with making it to it in time. So he's probably going to dedicate all his resources to take this 1 point and end the game here and now. So here we go. That unit in the building right now is just a Russia Sud infantry. I think it's a shitty Germanic infantry. I do not believe it will put up that big of a fight. So honestly, if he can rush that building right now, I think he has a pretty good chance of taking that building immediately, getting to those windows, forcing them away. That would give him such a great advantage in this battle if he can just shoot down, especially while engaging him. And just imagine if either side just had a single unit cav, but all that's been so depleted and exhausted. Saying of the Green Rascals, so they are light infantry, they have actually a pretty damn good melee stats, all things considered. And I think they should be able to take that building against that relatively meh kind of Russia Sud infantry there. And it seems like it actually is going to be taken here if we do not reinforce the building very soon. Actually, we're sending in some Italian infantry that looks like over there. Also some rallying units nearby. That might cause a bit of a panicking. Again, if the UK can kind of focus his shots, focus fire each individual unit, cause one to break one at a time, cause a mass rout, that could be pretty brutal for us. Wavering inside the building, this is pretty bad. This is looking pretty bad for us at the moment. I'm really hoping I get my 21st line over there as quick as possible to help out their fight, perhaps assault them from the rear, which might allow some other magic to happen, perhaps, potentially. This building fight really close. That British unit has not wavered. The Green Rascals are an absolutely insane unit. Do not seem to want to be going down anytime soon. Those arrived units that were previously winded have now arrived inside the town. That's going to help us out greatly. Hopefully they are not still very tired and at least winded. I presume. Finally, that Green Rascal in the building is finally wavering. That might result in the downfall. However, you also have some new reinforcements coming into the building. That's going to make it significantly more difficult for the British to take. Yes, we have repelled that initial assault. So a couple units left kind of holding off the flanks, but in the end, I think it's pretty safe to say we have repelled that initial British assault. Just with the reinforcements I've rallied from the field and also managing to press the British infantry over there. Going to be still a pretty brutal fight to take out the remainder of them, as it is still British infantry again. Making one last ditch effort assault here. But again, this is pretty much pointless and futile for the British at this point. It's pretty safe to say that LOC is in our favor, as we did communicate right before this, and we will indeed win this battle through LOC, as we do own more points. They do not own either HQ, in fact. We can communicate with them during the battle. And that was a great game. Thank you guys for staying around. That was an outstanding match. Players involved include Travis S, Z Colts, Lil Smurf, I for the Coalition, the Imperial, and for the Coalition, we got Cocky Cossack as Russia 9 there, Jar, Johann von Hiller, and Multiball. Very nice set there. B Square and his little clan there as well. And though maybe not the most experienced players, it was certainly a lot more impressive. I'm a pretty firm believer if honestly we didn't have those agendas at the beginning, this battle would have behaved very differently. It may have been a bit of a wipe there. I think because our morale's a lot more finicky, we weren't able to do nearly as much as we were able to do. But nonetheless, outstanding battle. Thank you guys for watching. Signing out. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.